Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. This is Kieran McMahon here, and this is my new show. Welcome to the Abyss. So, this is episode 2 of my new show, and it is based on the genetics and genealogies of the Irish. So, if you haven't watched episode 1 already, I highly advise you watch episode 1. So, episode 1, I detail the Irish myths are a true account of history. So essentially, I describe the Irish myths, the modern connections, and I use genetics essentially to prove my case. So for this particular episode, I will be carry on with that story, but I'll be using the modern genetics as well as the actual genealogies that I'm referencing. So as I said, if you haven't done already, watch episode 1, please, and thank you very kindly. And those who have watched episode 1, I shall give you a quick recap of the names and the stories mentioned involved, to help jog the memory as we carry on through these slides. So, without further ado, slide 2. So, as you can see here, these are the migrations from the Lower Gabala Ern. So, the Lower Gabala Ern are the stories that I was referencing from story number episode 1. So, you had Cesar, who came from the west prior to the flood. She was Noah's granddaughter. Then you have the Fomorians who came up to Ireland after the flood. These are somewhat mythological. Then you have Partholon, who were the first official invaders after the flood. They went to battle with the Fomorians. They came up from Greece. They are also said to be Noah's Law. Then you have Nemed, came from Scythia, modern day Western Steppes, same thing of Noah's Lot. Fairbog, they descend from the Nemedians, they return to Ireland from Greece. They are also Noah's Law. Then you have the Tuatha Danann, they descend from Nemet ultimately and are related to the Fairbog. They came to Ireland from the north, again of Noah's Law. And then you have the Milesians from Scythia. They arrived to Ireland from Scythia via Spain. They again are of Noah's Law. So, as I said previously, there is quite an interesting story here around Noah, Noah's Ark, and his genealogies. So, as we go into the next slide, I'll give you a quick recap of the generations of Noah. So, the generations of Noah are also known as the table or the origins gentium, is a genealogy of the sons of Noah according to the Hebrew Bible. After the flood, so after Caesar, as previously stated in the last slide, so Noah's descendants dispersed into many lands, and this genealogy focuses on the major known societies. And here are some key points from the list. So we have Shem. Shem was one of Noah's sons. The descendants included the Semites, which later became associated with the various Middle Eastern peoples. Ham. Ham was another of Noah's sons. His descendants include the Cushites, Canaanites, and Philistines. And then finally you have Japheth. The third son, is associated with the Japhethites. These names appear in various ancient texts and are often linked to European and Asian peoples. So, as I said, we have in these particular genealogies from Ireland, we're referencing specifically the Japhethites. So, just remember Japhethites. See him? Japheth. So, the next slide, we should be talking about Japheth and his lot and this actual map. So you have Japheth, his sons and his grandsons associate him with the geographic area of the Poison Agency, Greece, the Caucasus Mountains, and Anatolia. So the Caucasus, aka Caucasians. That features Ionia, Javan, Rhodes, Rhodaniem, Cyprus, Scythium, and other places in the eastern Mediterranean region. The point of the blessing of Japheth seems to be that Japheth, a Greek descended people, and Shem, the Israelites, and ruled jointly over Canaan, Palestine. So again, there is quite a lot to this story, and as you can see, the Irish and large genealogies feature in this story as well. Now, there is a whole story to this, and as I've said previously, it is absolutely amazing. And really, once you sink our teeth into this stuff, as I said previously, you will be the appetite for this is going to be insatiable. Now, there is going to be a lot of stuff I am going to be talking about, and people are going to be like, nah, that can't be right. But I have spent the last couple of years researching this stuff. As I said, I done the genetics specifically with the genealogies in mind. So I said, well, I am a descendant of these people. Surely, if I can do these genetics, I can arguably prove that these stories are true. So, as you can see there, Japheth's lot have taken Europe, East has taken Shem, and Africa is Ham. So, these are the sons of Noah. Now, as I did state previously, there is a son of Noah, a non biblical son called Bith, and his daughter is actually Cesar. So, what is interesting there is the non biblical son is mentioned, but he's mentioned in the Muslim texts. But as far as I can remember, he doesn't specifically mention his name. But again, it's interesting the similarities in the stories between all these different cultures. As I said, we all go back far enough. We essentially come from one. So, as he says, I shall carry on doing what I'm doing, and hopefully inspire people to look at deeper into this. Ideally, talk to more people about this kind of stuff and really get the grey matter energized, or the little hamsters in the wheel and the heads running like mad. So, as I said, we shall carry on. So, the next slide is the genetics. So, previous in the video, it stated that the Irish myths are absolute rubbish. There's no truth to them from the fella who officially translated the stories, who interestingly had his hand a role to play in the Philistines back in the day. Now, as you can see here, we have migrations. Now, this is the out of Africa theory. Again, this channel is about open topics and being open-minded about different things, and this is specifically the out of Africa theory here. Now, again, this is in my opinion, debatable, but we shall progress given with the information we're working on from the myths. So, as you can see, the H side, so again, focus on the H haplogroup. H1BB is my genetic testing. So, as you can you can see Turkey, Anatolia, Greece, Portugal, Iberia. See, to go to north into the north of Europe there, and obviously Ireland and Britain. Because obviously I'm Irish, I'm from Ireland, and there's a prevalence of the O'Neills being the H blood group. So this is this region here, and Northern Scotland as well. Excuse me. So as you can see, this is the H blood group. As I said previously in the other slides, that in mythology there was lads went back and forth to Ireland from the continent. The Fairball went into Britain, they went down to Greece. The two of they into land went north up to Norway, Sweden, and so forth. The sons of Mail came from Scythia. Scythia is this direction here. They came up from Scythia through Europe, or through Iberia, and then into Ireland. Then, as I said, this is the migration map I wanted to specifically show people to show these migrations do have some truth in them. Now, as I said, the bloodlines here now is going to be the key, as well as the genealogies. So this is my father's side, so R1B. I am RPH3210 specifically. So as you can see, same thing, came from the east. Now again, this is the out of Africa theory, so they came up through Iran. Now again, Iran, think Iran, that's an interesting connection, is it not? But anyway, that's a different topic for a different episode. So as you can see, there's a divergence here. One crew went east, one crew went west. This lot became the west, and this is where I ultimately descend from myself. So again, what is interesting about R1B and these H bloodlines is these are specifically found in European royalty. So if you did watch the previous video, I specifically state that my McMahons, as an atonement McMahons or Thomond McMahons, ultimately descend from the High King Brian Boru. He was of the Dalcassian tribe, and he is said to be descendant of Eber. Now, I'll be more explaining into this story as we progress through episodes and through different slides and stuff like that. But I really am trying to condense this down for people so they can piece this together with me. So as I said, the H blood group is the O'Neill dynasty. So I forgot to say, you've the O'Neills who are Araman's lot. So Araman and Eber were brothers, sons of Mail. So again, this will be talked about later. So the next slide we shall see the bloodlines of Europe's aristocracies. So you have a screenshot here, and I hope this fella didn't mind me taking this because I'm just using this for educational purposes. So a blogger of Europeans Genetics Forum has deduced that the haplogroups of many European kings and queens from living descendants who have been tested. It has long been known that mitochondrial DNA haplogroup H dominate the lines of Europe's aristocracies, while Y chromosome R1b was the most common male lineage. Prince Philip exhibits the stereotypical genes in this regard. And more interesting that the royal personages listed are those that haven't yet made the list: Elizabeth I or Charlemagne. Be interesting to know what their ntDNA was of Elizabeth's mother, Anne Boleyn, or that Charlemagne's male lineage. So there is other genetics there. So France would be Gaul, but at the same time, as I said, I just really want to focus on R1b and the hateful groups. So on to the next slide, we're going to see an example of this. So you can see Prince William. I think he's number one in line to now Prince Charles, now that the Queen is dead. So as you can see here, you have Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Now he was tested, he has the H and R1b. So again, this is quite interesting. And further up, you're going to see, look at these names. Prince Philip, George the Sixth, Edward the Eighth, George the Fifth, Alexander Denmark, Edward the Seventh, Victoria. So as I said, you can have a read now. James the First. James was the king that was disposed. I think he was a Stuart off the top of my head. Again, there's quite a lot to this. So I think he was the last Irish king. He was a Jacobite, and he lost to King William. Jacobite and William, the Williamites, so William of Orange. So again, this is more of the contemporary Irish history. Again, this will be discussed in a different video, but I just want to use this as an example. So to carry on, so I want to go back to Noah's Law, and we're going to specifically mention a poem related to Brian Boru from, I think it's the 13th century. So Einar Drit Avrian Vamba. So to you alone, O Brian of Ireland. So on Good Friday, Brian was killed defending the hostages Irish. Just as Christ without sin was killed defending the children of Adam. So this is a very interesting thing. There, I will link the all the stuff, and you can have a gander yourselves at your leisures. But again, the children of Adam. So the children of Adam. Noah is obviously a descendant of Adam. Japheth is a descendant of Noah. He's a son. And then, as I said here, what I'm trying to describe here is these genealogies that go back to Noah himself. So therefore, if they're related to Noah, they obviously are related to Adam. But again, this is quite interesting that you have all this in Middle Ages Ireland. It's like this is very specific mentioning of this. So as I said here, we're gonna carry on here. So in the next slide here, I mentioned previously the Dalcassian tribe. So R1b and the O'Neill tribe H. So I just go for argument's sake. I can't do that, never mind. So the Dalcassian tribe is the O'Brien side, and the O'Neill tribe are the O'Neill side. So as you can see there in the sample there, that is Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland himself. Please note the three lions, the crown, the harp, sword. So this is Brian Boru, and this is a book that was written in the 17th century. the genealogical history of Ireland and the Milesian families of Ireland. So these are the families that all these different people are claiming descent from. This is a legitimate written genealogy. So as you can see here, you have the Dalcassian tribe, O'Brien's lot. See there, the Dalcassian tribe, and then you have the O'Neills. Now, as I said previously, you have Heber or Eber. Never mind. You have Eber, which is here, and Herman, sons of Milesius, as the United and the noble tribe, as here shown. So this gives you the genealogies on the way down. So as I said, you can have a Gandarino at that yourself. So this is just the research I've been referencing. So I'm not pulling this out of thin air. It's like this is like legit records in Irish history. And vice versa, you have the O'Neill tribe there, and I specifically mentioned Murder of the Nine Hostages, another famous High King of Ireland of yesteryear. So to carry on with these genealogies, so a couple of slides back, I was talking about the R&B and the H bloodlines. So in the next line, we're gonna and just remember here, Brian Boru, the man himself. So in this next slide, you have the modern English royal family, the R1B descendants of the Milesian line. So the lineage is traced through Queen Elizabeth II's mother, Elizabeth Bower's line, who's descended of the Irish-born Duke of Wellington. Her son, King Charles III, has two links to Brian Boru, head of the now King's visit to Kilkenny in 2017. Local archivist John Kieran wrote to His Royal Highness London Home Clarence Home, informing him that he had at least three lines of Irish ancestry. So, as I said, this is all going to be referenced, so you can have a gander at that or essential, very informative articles about Irish history there. As you can see, there's the Queen and the King himself. And as I said, descendants of the High King Brian Boru. Now, there is a side note I have written here. It kind of gives you the details of other descendants of Brian Boru's through the likes of the McMurrows, through the Normans, the Norman invasion of Ireland. So, for those of you that don't necessarily know Irish history, there was the Normans, the Vikings, and the Brits. So there was a couple of other people came to Ireland after the book of invasions. But again, in my opinion, this is all to protect our culture from being destroyed. What is essentially by probably our later descendants. We are, as I said, we are all related in true some way, shape, or form over the years. So there is a fella here. So in the side note in this article, you have a DCU lecturer, Dr. Mark Humphreys, and he says Brian Boru is the ancestor of every English monarch from 1499 to the present. Almost certainly more people in England can prove descent from Brian Boru than people in Ireland. Well, I am one of them that can prove descent. Thanks very much. And then you have the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, who is also a member of the royal family by marriage, is yet another member of the royal family descended from Brian Boru. And she has genealogical links to the Irish singer Christopher. Jeez, that's deadly, isn't it? But anyway, but again, this is just a little bit of spiel on the side there to say the links between the Irish genetics and the aristocracy of our nearest neighbours. So in the next note we have modern English royal family and the H blood group, the descendants of the Milesian line. So as you've seen a couple of slides ago, you've seen Queen Vic herself mentioned. So I said previously that I wanted to use family tree DNA specifically because I had the migration maps and it had some other information. So it was funny when this video came up. Was like I didn't know about this, I don't think, and it was a video that came up and it gives you who your most famous ancestor is, and this gives me my most famous ancestor on my mother's line. So lo and behold, it is Queen Victoria herself. So again, as I said, you go back a couple of slides there, you can see the mention of the H blood groups and R1B blood groups. So there you go, Queen of the United Kingdom. There you go, H. So in another genealogy here from the 18th century, I will give you, it's called the Pedigrees of the English Royal Family. Again, this will be linked. So again, as you can see here, the greatest antiquity of the House of Hanover itself composed deduced from the royal stem of Ireland. Again, the royal stem of Ireland would be the O'Neills and the O'Briens, Brian Boru, the nine hostages. You know, Queen Vic, Edward, George, so on, so forth. As I said to you, the H blood group, R1B blood group. And again, this is genealogical records. This isn't me talking out the side of my mouth. So the next slide is going to be specifically referencing the pedigree of the English royal family. So that is featured on the Library of Ireland, the pedigrees one royal family of England. So again, to relate this back, you have Adam. There's Adam there. You have Noah, Japheth, Magog. You go down. As obviously this is a screenshot, and I'm just chatting away here. So you go back. You've Niall more known as Niall of the Nine Hostages. So again, you've this connection, and then there you have Victoria. So I previously claimed in the last video that you could say the O'Neills were related to this particular family, the O'Briens related to this particular family, and there you go. This is actually written in record from a couple of centuries ago in Ireland, and it's obviously been kept. And again, it's interesting. Irish mythology was called a myth, and doesn't necessarily appear to be so mythological now, and vice versa. The Bible. So again, Bible stories. You've Noah's flood. You have Noah's flood, and then you have these genealogies, and then here you have modern genetics. It's all very interesting. As I said, there's other interesting names here. Cormac McCarthy's there somewhere. There you are. Now again, this is a far wider range of topic than I can do in a video that's about half an hour long. Or try to keep half an hour long. But anyway, I'm gonna carry on here. And you have the Milesian genealogies again. This is another reference I'm going to use. I shall send on to you. So I will put it into the description. You can have a gander, at all this stuff yourself. So as you can see here, as Milesians were the last of the ancient colonists who were subdued from the races previously existing in Ireland, the Tuatha, Danann, Faribault, Nemeth, Partholon, etc. So a few exceptions have been made preserved. So the genealogical tree begins therefore with the brothers. So what they're describing is they're starting from Eber and Erman. So I'm coming from myself back to essentially Eber and Erman, and Eber and Erman are going back to Noah, therefore to Adam. So as you can see, Eber and Erman. So Eber was the O'Briens and Erman was the O'Neill, as previously stated in the Dalcassin and O'Neill screenshots that were there. So they're the two surviving leaders of the expedition. So this is when they came up through Iberia into Ireland. So whose ancestors are traced back to Magog, the son of Japheth, the great southern chief, such as McCarthy's and the O'Briens. So that's one lineage. So R1B there, we can prove that. Claim descent from Eber, northern family. So my ma is from the north, and my dad is from what's considered the south. The McMahons are from the west, so south of Ireland, and the northern families O'Neill. So they claim Erman as their head. So there are other families claim descent from either son of brother of Eber and Erman, also known as the cousin Lugud, the son of It. These are four sources of the principal Celtic families of Ireland have sprung. And now they do not quite trace link to the grand old gardener and his wife, so Adam and Eve, but there is a genetic connection. But they do have a pedigree that cannot be cast out and might be claimed with pride by many a monarch, as has been done with current history. So, MacPherbus's book of genealogies combined in the year 1650 from the lost records is the most perfect work of this kind extent, but there are tracks in the book of Leinster and the book of Ballymoe. So these are other books that have been sourced information. That's where the Lower Cabala Earn gets a lot of this stuff from as well. So as you can see here, as I said, this will be linked so you can have a gander at this yourself. I'm sorry for the poor screenshots, but I am not great at technology. This is about as good as it gets for me right now and you. So the historical use of these genealogies is very, very great, not only because they give an authentic pedigree and approximate date for chronological calculation, but from the immense amount of correlative information which they contain, every freeborn man of the tribe was entitled by blood, should it come to his turn to succeed the chieftaincy. So in Ireland's history, there was a lot of high kings war for the chieftainships of Ireland, or the high kingship of Ireland. They all go around killing each other. Imagine if they didn't kill each other, where would Ireland be today? So hence the exactitude with which each pedigree was kept. So it's very clear why they kept these pedigrees and why it's so important. So hence the insight and matter they contain by dimension of such historical events or have acted in different tribes and families by which they lost their inheritance or independence and consequently their claim, however remote to the chieftaincy. So in the next slide, I'm going to mention something about this particular paragraph. So please keep this in mind. So the ancient history of the people should always be studied with care or candor by those who, as a matter of interest or duty, and thus we protect our sacred rights, wish to understand their social state and the government best suited to that state. Many of the poorest families in Ireland are descendants of its ancient chiefs. The old habit, the habit which deepened and intensified itself during centuries, cannot be eradicated. Although it may be ridiculed and the peasant will still boast of his blood, it is all that he has left to make him proud of his inheritance of his ancestors. I wouldn't exactly call myself a peasant now, but I do think I can claim this descent because, as I said, I do have an interest in this, and it's right there in front of you. So, to go on to the next slide, so again, we're going to talk specifically. So, obviously, the story about Ireland and Britain, a lot of war now. As far as I'm concerned, that's in the past, but at the same time, you should be able to talk about it openly and discuss. So, during the invasion of Ireland, the north of Ireland was uh, essentially it was planted by the British and a fellow called Oliver Cromwell, seized a load of Gaelic noble lands, etc. Said that is another topic that I'm just going to give a brief glimpse into. But the next slide is going to talk about a fella called Patrice de McMahon. So Mr. McMahon here was the president of France in around the 1800s, I believe it was. He was also served in the French Foreign Legion. So the links to this are going to be in the description of the video. But Patrice de McMahon was born in Surrey in the Saint Loire department on 13th of June, I don't know what I'm French, sorry, 1808. The McMahon family originally came from Ireland before arriving in France after the fall of House of Stuart. So House of Stuart was it James V? I was talking about him earlier on. So that's the House of Stuart, the loss of the Williamites. So they haven't lost his fortune. So McMahon's grandfather, Jean Baptiste McMahon, born in Limerick, again Thomond. Thomond is in Limerick. 23rd of May 1750 and died in Spain on the 15th. Studied medicine, began practicing quickly rose through the social ranks. 1749, he was naturalized and his nobility was recognized in France based on his family's noble Irish origins. So this is what I was describing in the last sentence. So why are the French in the 17 and 1800s recognizing Gaelic nobility from another country, nobility from another country? Why are they recognizing that? In my opinion, they recognize that this is the story. These are the people of Noah, or the people of Adam. So again, if you go back to O'Brien, or Brian Boru and his poem about protecting the children of Adam, you have it here himself. He is descended from a High King of Ireland, that High King being Brian Boru. So again, all quite interesting stuff here. Now it's coming up to the half-hour mark here, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up ASAP. Now in the next slide here, you have the genealogy of Adam. So just to give you like a variable on a visual kind of graph to see the genealogies I'm talking about. So you have Adam down to Noah. You Noah and his three sons. Now again, there is an unbiblical son there, but we shall digress for that one for the time being. We're focusing specifically on Japheth. So we can carry on onto the next part of that. So you have the genealogies of Noah. So Shem, Japheth, Ham. We're focused on Japheth, which is Europe. And then you have Shem here. So now Shem and Eber. And then you keep on coming down here, you have Abraham. So Abraham is important. Why? Because if you, like myself, are a Christian or a Jew or Jewish or Muslim or of Islam, we all come from the Abrahamic religion. So Abraham is the father of our three religions. So again, that is quite interesting there within itself. Again, we all come from one. So I shall go on to the next paragraph here, and we are going to talk about Abraham and the lost tribes. So if you did watch the last video, I got down to about the two-a-day Danann, and I specifically say the lost tribes of Israel. So again, this is another episode because again, this is just so bleeding mad. There's just so much stuff to this. Like it's absolutely crazy. And as I said, once you sink our teeth in, your appetite will be insatiable. So as I said, remember in the fourth video I spoke with the tribe of Dan and the lost tribes of Israel, the two-a-day Danann. So again, you go back in the genealogies and the genetics and the maps, you can see that my DNA comes up from Egypt. So there's numerous people who are of descent of Noah that have came to Ireland from the continent, and they come up from the likes of Egypt, they come up from the likes of Iran, the steppes, etc. So it's again, I go back to this point of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, I said previously there is probably thousands of years history, and it's been condensed into 2000s according to modern scholars. Now again, I'm only a lowly technician. I'm only doing this for a bit of crack. I just find this is mad interesting, and I think I could really share knowledge and help people uh, like just really recognize their own culture and who they are. Daily, this is the plan for the channel. But as you can see here, so we previously had Noah down to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. So this is important for the next slide. More specifically, you have Jacob, Judah, David, and Jesus Christ. So again, tribe of Dan, they went missing during the biblical stories, if you know about that story. But again, this is a different episode. I'm going to be wrapping up here soon. So on the next slide here, we're going to be talking about another genealogy. So as you can see here, you have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel, Judah, and it goes down to two lines here. Two lines. Now again, I'm sorry, my technological prowess is not that great. But anyway, you can see the screenshot here. I will be linking all this stuff in so you can have a gander. So what you have is you have Elizabeth, George the sixth, George the fifth, Edward, and remember Victoria. So if you cast your eye, so remember Victoria, you have James there, James the fifth. James the fifth is in there too, isn't he? Jeez, that's mad, isn't it? And you have the Stuarts. They're like, holy lantern, Jesus Christ. There's quite an interesting number of names there. Like if you go up through this, you have Irish Kings. You counted 100 battles there. Mentioned him earlier as well, didn't I? I'm just going through this to kind of point a couple of interesting names out to you. Noel, Noel of the Nine Hostages. Guido's going to be a different story, but Eber Scott. So as you can see all these lines, and as I said in the previous slides, we have genealogies here that go from, say, myself and this family to Abraham, Abraham to Noah, and Noah to Adam. So again, there is obviously some sort of truth in this so-called myth. And as I said, I am doing this specifically to try and open people's minds to these stories. So it's about 33 minutes in here now. I am going to sign off. I'm not being at this all day. Probably you can hear my voice. I'm a bit sick. So I am going to wrap it up here, and I'm just going to do a quick conclusion here. So as you can see via genetics and genealogies presented here, there's more to the bits of Ireland as well as the biblical stories. So tune in next time for more. And as I said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos. There will be more. As I said, I'm actually sick at the moment, so I'm trying to lash out as much as possible because I can be really busy, and only because I'm off sick, I'm doing this because I can't do anything else. But anyway, thanks again, folks. This was Welcome to the Abyss. Now you may leave the Abyss. Thank you very kindly.